Everyone inside the cafe expected Keanu Reeves to get angry. After all, the biker's voice was loud, rude, full of disrespect. Some people even turned their heads away, not wanting trouble. Others secretly took out their phones, thinking a fight was about to happen. But Keanu didn't react the way anyone expected. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't stand up. He didn't even look offended. Instead, he smiled. A calm, relaxed smile. The kind of smile that made people wonder, does he know something we don't? The biker noticed it too. He frowned and said, "What's so funny, huh?" Keanu slowly lifted his eyes. His expression was peaceful. No fear. No anger. Just quiet confidence. For a few seconds no one spoke. The cafe felt strangely silent. Even the sound of cups and spoons seemed to disappear. Keanu gently placed his coffee on the table. Very carefully. As if nothing important was happening. Then he looked at the biker and said something unexpected. Not an insult. Not a threat. Not a joke. He said, "Life's too short to waste on anger." His voice was soft. But every word was clear. The biker laughed. His friends laughed with him. "Listen to this guy," one of them said. "Sounds like a motivational speaker." But something about Keanu's tone felt different. It wasn't weak. It wasn't nervous. It was controlled. Strong. Mature. A nearby customer whispered, "Why isn't he scared?" Another replied, "Maybe he knows how this will end." The biker stepped closer. So close that their shoulders almost touched. "You think you're better than us?" he asked. No. Keanu didn't move. He didn't back away. He didn't argue. He simply held eye contact. And smiled again. That second smile changed everything. Because this time, it wasn't friendly. It was confident. It was warning. It was the kind of smile that says, "I'm calm. But don't push me." The biker suddenly felt uncomfortable. He didn't know why. He just felt it. Like he had stepped into something he didn't understand. And what no one in that cafe realized yet was that this quiet man in front of them had spent years mastering discipline, control, and combat. They had no idea who they were dealing with. And what happened next would shock everyone. Before anyone in that cafe ever noticed the bikers. Before voices were raised. Before tension filled the air. It had been a perfectly normal day. A peaceful one. Outside, gray clouds floated slowly across the sky. Light rain tapped against the windows like soft music. Inside, the cafe was warm and comfortable. The smell of fresh coffee filled the room. People sat quietly with laptops, books, and newspapers. Some were working. Some were relaxing. Some were just escaping the cold outside. Near the corner window sat Keanu Reeves and his wife. They had chosen that table for a reason. It was private. Away from the entrance. Away from attention. They didn't want to be noticed. No bodyguards. No assistants. No cameras. Just them. Keanu wore a simple jacket, jeans, and boots. Nothing expensive. Nothing flashy. No sunglasses. No celebrity style. If you walked past him, you would think he was just another customer. A quiet man enjoying his afternoon. His wife smiled as she stirred her coffee. "You always choose the smallest table," she joked softly. Keanu laughed. "I like places where no one looks twice," he replied. They shared a moment. A private one. The kind that doesn't need words. They talked about simple things. A movie they watched. A place they wanted to visit. A book Keanu had started reading. Nothing dramatic. Nothing important. Just life. And that's exactly how he liked it. For Keanu, fame was never the goal. Peace was. He had spent years in loud places. On movie sets. In interviews. In crowds. Now, moments like this mattered more than anything. Being normal. Being invisible. Being human. At another table, a young student typed on her laptop. Across the room, an old couple shared a slice of cake. Near the counter, a barista hummed while making drinks. Everything felt safe. Comfortable. Predictable. No one imagined it would change. Keanu leaned back in his chair. He looked around the cafe quietly. Not in a suspicious way. In a thoughtful way. Like someone who notices small details. The exit. The windows. The people. A habit he had learned long ago. Not from acting. From training. From discipline. From experience. His wife noticed and smiled. "You're scanning the room again," she teased. He shrugged. "Old habits," he said. She laughed. "You're not in a movie right now." "I know," he replied. "That's why I'm enjoying it." They clinked their cups gently. Outside, the rain grew heavier. Cars passed slowly. Pedestrians hurried by with umbrellas. Inside, time felt slower. Safer. But somewhere in the distance, a deep engine roared. Then another. Then another. At first, no one paid attention. It sounded far away. Unimportant. Just traffic. But slowly, the sound grew louder. Closer. Closer. Until it stopped right outside the cafe. And that peaceful afternoon was about to change forever. The cafe door suddenly swung open. A rush of cold air entered first. Then the noise. Heavy boots hit the floor. One after another. Thud. 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 The peaceful atmosphere cracked. 6 bikers walked in together. Tall. Broad. Dressed in black leather jackets. Metal chains hanging from their belts. Patches stitched on their backs. Their helmets were tucked under their arms. Water dripped from their clothes onto the floor. They were loud. Laughing. Shouting. Talking over each other. Man, that ride was crazy. My hands are frozen. I told you that shortcut was trash. Heads turned. Conversation stopped. The barista froze for a second, then forced a smile. Welcome, she said nervously. The bikers ignored her. They pushed 2 tables together near the center, pulled chairs loudly, sat down like they owned the place. One of them kicked his boot onto another chair. Another slammed his helmet on the table. Bang. People exchanged uncomfortable looks. A mother pulled her child closer. The old couple stopped eating. The student on her laptop removed her earphones. Everyone felt it. This was different. This wasn't normal cafe behavior. Near the window, Keanu noticed it immediately. He didn't react. He didn't stare. He just observed. Quietly. Calmly. Like he always did. One biker, the biggest one, leaned back in his chair. He had a thick beard. A scar above his eyebrow. A loud voice. Clearly the leader. Drinks on me, he shouted. Make them strong. His friends cheered. They started telling stories. About races. About fights. About who scared who. Each story louder than the last. Trying to impress. Trying to dominate the room. Then, the leader's eyes drifted. Slowly. Carefully. They landed on Keanu's table. He stared for a few seconds. Then smirked. Yo, he whispered to his friends. Check that guy. They followed his gaze. A few laughed. One shrugged. Just some dude, another said. But the leader kept staring. Keanu was different. Not scared. Not nervous. Not trying to hide. Just calm. Still. Focused on his coffee. That confidence bothered him. The leader stood up. Walked slowly toward Keanu's table. His step felt heavy. People watched. No one spoke. Even the barista stopped moving. He stopped beside Keanu. Looked down at him. You always sit this quiet? He asked. Keanu looked up. Smiled politely. Yes, he replied. That simple answer made the biker laugh. Man, you sound like a teacher. His friends laughed from across the room. The leader leaned closer. So close that Keanu could smell smoke and rain on his jacket. You here with your girlfriend? He asked. Keanu's smile faded slightly. That's my wife, he said calmly. Oh, the biker mocked. Fancy. He glanced at her. Too long. Too rude. She shifted uncomfortably. Keanu noticed. And something changed in his eyes. Not anger. Focus. Alertness. The leader saw it. He tilted his head. What? He said. Got a problem? The room held its breath. Because now, it wasn't just teasing. It was personal. And everyone could feel. This situation was about to explode. The biker's words hung in the air. What? Got a problem? No one answered. Not immediately. The cafe felt frozen. Like time itself had paused. Every person inside was watching now. No phones. No talking. No movement. Only silence. Keanu didn't respond right away. He slowly placed his spoon on the saucer. Clink. The soft sound felt strangely loud. Then he gently folded his napkin. Neat. Careful. Like he had all the time in the world. The biker frowned. Hey, he snapped. I'm talking to you. Keanu finally looked up. Straight into his eyes. Calm. Steady. Unshaken. No, Keanu said quietly. I don't. His voice wasn't weak. It wasn't aggressive. It was controlled. The kind of voice that comes from confidence. The biker blinked. Not expecting that answer. No problem, he repeated. Keanu shook his head. No problem, he said again. But you're making my wife uncomfortable. That sentence changed everything. Some people gasped softly. The biker's friends leaned forward, sensing drama. The leader laughed. Oh yeah, he said. And what are you gonna do about it? He spread his arms. Mocking. challenging, testing. Keanu didn't rise to the bait. He took a slow breath, in through his nose, out through his mouth. A habit, a discipline. He gently pushed his chair back. It scraped softly on the floor. Scree. Every ear caught it. He stood up, slowly, not rushed, not angry, controlled, balanced. The cafe seemed smaller now, like the walls were closing in. Keanu straightened his jacket, adjusted his sleeves. Simple movements, but precise, intentional. The biker noticed. So, you want to fight? He sneered. Keanu shook his head. No, he replied. I don't. That answer confused everyone. The biker scowled. Then sit down, he snapped. Keanu didn't. He remained standing, relaxed, hands open, shoulders loose, feet slightly apart. A natural stance, trained, balanced, perfect. One of the bikers whispered, Bro, look at how he's standing. Another replied, Yeah, that's weird. The leader ignored them. You scared? He mocked. Keanu smiled faintly. Fear isn't the issue, he said. Respect is. His words cut deeper than any insult. The room felt heavy. The biker stepped closer, chest to chest now, trying to dominate, trying to intimidate. You think you're some hero? He growled. Keanu looked past him, at his wife. She nodded slightly, trusting him. That moment mattered. He turned back. No, Keanu said. I'm just someone who doesn't like bullies. The biker's face hardened. His jaw tightened. Muscles flexed. He clenched his fists. Everyone knew what that meant. A punch was coming. Any second. A chair scraped. Someone whispered, Call the police. The barista's hands shook. Outside, thunder rumbled faintly. Inside, tension exploded silently. The biker lifted his arm. Slowly. Testing. Threatening. His fist hovered in the air. Right between them. Time stretched. Seconds felt like minutes. Would he swing? Would Keanu react? Would chaos erupt? No one knew. But one thing was clear. Whatever happened next would change everything. The biker's fist hovered in the air. So close. So tense. So dangerous. Everyone in the cafe stopped breathing. No one blinked. No one moved. It felt like the whole room was holding its breath. Keanu stood perfectly still. Not frozen. Not scared. Balanced. Ready. His eyes were calm. Focused. Watching every small movement. The biker's knuckles turned white. His jaw clenched. He wanted to hit him. Everyone could see it. But something stopped him. Something he couldn't explain. It was Keanu's presence. Not aggressive. Not arrogant. Just controlled. Powerful in silence. Keanu spoke softly. Take a breath, he said. The biker frowned. What? He snapped. Breathe, Keanu repeated. Right now you're angry. And angry people make mistakes. The words were unexpected. Not an insult. Not a threat. Advice. Real advice. The biker hesitated. His fist lowered slightly. Just a little. His friend stared. Confused. Bro, don't listen to him, one whispered. But the biker was distracted now. Why do you care? He asked. Keanu replied honestly. Because I've been where you are. That surprised everyone. You think I've always been calm? Keanu continued. I've made mistakes. I've lost my temper. I've hurt people, and myself. His voice carried weight. Experience. Truth. I learned the hard way, he said. That strength isn't about hurting others. The biker swallowed. Something inside him shifted. Keanu gently raised his hands. Open palms. No threat. No defense. I don't want to fight you, he said. I don't want to embarrass you. I just want us all to leave here peacefully. Silence followed. Heavy. Real. The biker looked at his fist. Then at Keanu. Then at the watching crowd. For the first time, he felt exposed. Not powerful. Not scary. Just human. One of his friends muttered, Man, he's messing with your head. But it wasn't manipulation. It was sincerity. Keanu took one small step back, creating space, showing trust. That move mattered. It told everyone, I'm not your enemy. The biker exhaled loudly, like air leaving a balloon. His shoulders dropped. His fist finally fell to his side. Damn, he whispered. I didn't come here for this. Keanu smiled gently. Neither did I. A few people sighed in relief. Someone quietly whispered, Thank God. The barista wiped her eyes. She hadn't realized she was close to crying. The biker rubbed his face. Look, he said. I've had a rough week. My bike broke down. Lost my job. Bills piling up. His voice cracked slightly. I just needed to feel strong. Keanu listened. Really listened. No shame in that, he replied. But real strength is walking away. The biker nodded slowly. Yeah, he said. Guess you're right. He extended his hand. Not aggressively. Respectfully. Keanu took it. Firm. Warm. Human. They shook. The cafe erupted in quiet applause. Not loud. Not dramatic. But sincere. Keanu turned to his wife. She smiled proudly. He squeezed her hand. The biker looked at his friends. We're done, he said. Let's chill. They returned to their table. Softer. Quieter. Different. The atmosphere changed instantly. The storm had passed. But what people would remember forever wasn't the tension. Wasn't the threat. It was how one calm man turned anger into respect. Without throwing a single punch. Without raising his voice. Without proving anything. He had already won. After the handshake, the cafe felt different. Lighter. Quieter. Safer. It was as if a heavy storm had passed, leaving fresh air behind. People slowly returned to their seats. Conversations restarted. Spoons touched cups again. Soft music filled the silence. Life continued. But everyone inside knew. They had just witnessed something special. Keanu returned to his chair. He sat down calmly. No victory pose. No proud smile. Just peace. His wife looked at him and whispered, I'm proud of you. He smiled. Thank you, he replied softly. Across the room the bikers sat together. But now they weren't loud. They weren't showing off. They spoke quietly. One of them laughed nervously. Man, that was close. The leader shook his head. Yeah, too close. He stared at his hands for a moment, like he was seeing them differently. A waitress approached their table carefully. Can I get you anything? She asked. The leader nodded politely. Coffee, please. And, sorry about earlier. She smiled in surprise. No problem, she said. At the counter, the barista finally relaxed. Her hands stopped shaking. She took a deep breath. Then glanced at Keanu. She whispered to a coworker. Who is that guy? I think that's Keanu Reeves, the coworker replied. Her eyes widened. No way. But she didn't rush over. She didn't ask for a photo. She respected his space. So did everyone else. That meant more to him than any autograph. Outside the rain slowed. The clouds began to separate. A small beam of sunlight slipped through the window. It landed right on Keanu's table. Warm. Gentle. Perfect timing. He noticed it and smiled. Life had a strange way of balancing things. A young man from another table stood up. He walked toward Keanu nervously. Sir, he said. I just wanted to say, that was amazing. Keanu looked up. Thank you, he replied kindly. But it wasn't about being amazing. The young man looked confused. Keanu continued. It was about choosing peace. The boy nodded slowly. I'll remember that, he said. Then returned to his seat. The biker leader watched this. Something stirred inside him. He stood up again. Walked over. Not aggressively this time. Respectfully. Hey, he said. Keanu looked up. Yes. I meant what I said earlier, the biker continued. I'm sorry. Keanu nodded. I know, he replied. The biker hesitated. Can I ask you something? Of course. How did you stay so calm? Keanu thought for a moment. Training, he said. Not just martial arts. Training your mind. Learning when to act. And when not to. The biker nodded. Maybe I need that. Keanu smiled. Everyone does. They shared a quiet laugh. The biker returned to his table. A different man than before. Minutes later, the bikers stood to leave. They paid their bill. Left a generous tip. Before walking out, the leader turned back. He raised his hand. A small sign of respect. Keanu returned it. No words needed. Engines started outside. But this time, they weren't roaring. They were calm. Controlled. Fading into the distance. The cafe returned to normal. But the story stayed. People would talk about it for years. Remember that day? When Keanu Reeves calmed a biker without fighting? Yes, I was there. Keanu finished his coffee. Stood up. Put on his jacket. He and his wife prepared to leave. At the door he paused. Looked back at the cafe. Smiled softly. Then stepped outside. Into a world that felt a little better. Because of one peaceful choice that as the cafe door closed behind Keanu and his wife, something invisible remained inside. Not tension, not fear, not anger, but a lesson, a powerful one. People slowly returned to their routines. Typing, talking, drinking, laughing. Yet, in their hearts, many were still thinking about what they had just witnessed. It wasn't a movie scene. There were no cameras, no special effects, no background music, just real life. And in real life, Keanu Reeves showed what true strength looks like. He didn't throw a punch. He didn't insult anyone. He didn't try to prove he was better. He chose calm. He chose dignity. He chose respect. And that choice changed everything. The young student closed her laptop. She whispered to herself, "I want to be like that." The barista leaned against the counter. She thought about all the times she had wanted to scream at rude customers. All the times she had gone home angry. That day she learned something new. Silence can be stronger than shouting. The old couple held hands. The husband said quietly, "Real men don't fight for ego." His wife nodded. "Real men protect peace." Even the biker leader felt different. Outside, as he put on his helmet, he stared at his reflection. For the first time in years, he didn't see a tough guy. He saw a man who almost lost control, and a stranger who helped him find it again. He whispered, "Thank you." Not to Keanu, to life, to the moment, to the lesson. Because sometimes, we meet the right person at the right time, and it saves us from making the wrong choice. This story isn't really about bikers. It's not even about Keanu Reeves. It's about you. It's about me. It's about every moment when anger rises inside us. When someone disrespects us. When someone pushes our buttons. When our ego says, "Fight back. Prove yourself. Don't let them win." But wisdom says, "Pause. Breathe. Choose peace." That pause can change your life. 1 second of control can save years of regret. Think about it. How many times have arguments ruined friendships? How many times has anger destroyed families? How many times has pride led to pain? All because no one paused. No one breathed. No one chose calm. Keanu did. And everyone around him benefited. You never know who is watching you. Your children. Your friends. Your coworkers. Even strangers. They learn from your behavior. They copy your reactions. They mirror your energy. So when you choose patience, you teach patience. When you choose respect, you spread respect. When you choose peace, you create peace. That's leadership. Not loud. Not violent. Not selfish. Quiet. Strong. Lasting. And here's the truth. Real power isn't in your fists. It's in your mind. It's in your heart. It's in your choices. Anyone can lose control. Few can master it. And those few change the world in small ways. Every single day. This story touched you. If it made you think, if it reminded you to stay calm, then don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Let someone else learn. Let someone else breathe. Let someone else choose peace. Now I want to ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where anger almost took over? Where you wanted to react, but you stopped yourself? If yes, type respect red heart in the comments. Let the world know you choose strength over ego. And tell me where you're watching from. Your country, your city, your home. Because this channel is not just about stories. It's about people. It's about growth. It's about becoming better together. If you're new here, welcome. You belong here. Hit the subscribe button. Turn on notifications, so you never miss a story that lifts you up. And if you're already part of this family, thank you. Your support means everything. Remember, stay kind, stay strong, stay humble. Because in a noisy world, calm people stand out the most. And sometimes, they change lives without saying a word.